I've just been in a place where I'm in a lot of fear and worry.
Okay, can you just like what's the fear and the worry specifically?
Like if I somehow got doxxed.
Uh, so, do you believe that God's behind this plan?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a bunch of people in the Bible like David fighting Goliath.
Yes, that's been on my mind too.
Yeah, so just remember those fears that you're fearing are Satan trying to attack you, and he's really the only enemy that can defeat you. And that's only if you allow him in, because you're basically, it's a test right now that you're being tested to see, like a test of faith. So just know that nothing can touch you unless Jesus wills it. And so I know it can be intimidating with doing big things and stuff like that, but you just keep putting your faith in Jesus, that he's going to protect you. What's the reason? Is there a specific reason why you feel like you got doxxed, or you're going to get doxxed, or is it just kind of out of nowhere fear?
So, the newest COVID variant is named Eris, who is the goddess of discord.
Okay. I mean,
and the last COVID started when after I carpet bombed my local university with QR codes. And lockdown started the next day.
now do you think you could just be making connections that aren't there?
No, it was like literally the next day.
I mean, but is that... I mean, lots of stuff happened the next day, didn't it? I mean, like lots of...
So, okay, who's the king, right? Coronavirus, the king virus. Who is that?
I mean, but coronavirus has been... they've had that patented before you started this. Did you get what I'm saying? Are you there? Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just, there are dark forces at foot, that's all.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to provide like thoughts to help you. Maybe not, because I know like you're gonna be your own worst enemy right now. Like, regardless of what the enemy wants to do, they can only work within God's will. Like, even the enemy is in God's control. You know what I mean? And so, right now, the only way he can affect things is if he gets in your head and causes fear. So I'm simply trying to point out that it can be a dangerous game trying to see cause in everything related to the plan that you're doing. Does that make sense? Because then you just go down rabbit holes you can't answer. Like worrying is not gonna add. The Bible even says that, like, who can worry and add a day to their life,
right?
Or even a second to their life. And so, whether that connection is there or it's not there, it's not gonna affect things. The only thing that's going to affect things is if you start getting in your head and worrying. So that's why I'm saying, do you agree that very well that it could have just been a coincidence?
What could?
That,
the new COVID name is Discord?
Yeah.
No, that's not a coincidence.
Why?
Because there are Freemasons everywhere, and there are secret society agents of secret societies embedded everywhere.
But what does that have to do? Like, why do you think they would pick Discord? Just because you have a Discord server?
Because we're being spied on right now.
I mean, but don't you think we were already being spied on? You think they're just now starting to spy on us? Or anybody like?
I think I was under the radar somewhat until recently.
What makes you think you were under the radar? I mean, like I said, please don't take anything I'm saying. I'm just trying to understand, and that's I ask questions to understand. So, please don't take anything. I'm just trying to find out where you're coming from, so I know how to pray for you and stuff.
Well, up until 3 months ago, I was just an engineer working on an innovative city.
Okay.
I wasn't really a threat to anyone. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think? I mean, I think the spiritual forces are more intelligent than us, as far as being able to see, being able to know what God wants and countering that. So, although like people may not have noticed that this is going to, what you're working on is something good, the enemy, who is Satan, knows that long before the humans know that. Like the humans are just his minions, right? They're just the force that he works through. But so what I'm getting at is like, I guess like, hold on, let me back up. So you feel like you're going to be doxxed because the new coronavirus is named Discord, and then the last one was named King, and so that ties into your project because you plastered the idea on campus, and then the next day it got released. And then how long ago? You started 3 months ago. You like revealed the King, what was it called? King's, not King's Plan.
King's Moves.
Yeah, King's Moves. You did that about 3 months ago?
No, it's been less than that, and it's really, things have accelerated so much in just a few short weeks.
Okay. So what do you think, I mean, what do you think, that, I'm trying to think how to word this. So like, what's your worry about being doxxed? Do you not think that you have protection? Like, do you think the enemy can dox you and then come, like, Jesus wouldn't send people to protect you?
I'm in the dark on a lot of things. And
So
it causes huge amounts of anxiety. The Masons don't give any secrets. The Pentagon doesn't give any secrets. The CIA, the FBI, they don't give any secrets.
Well,
The only person in this entire fucking society that gives away secrets is me.
Well, so do you think that, so you've already given this to the military, so say the military received it and they vouch for it and they think it's a good idea, right?
Yes, that's the hope.
So the plan at that point would no longer hinge on you being the only one that protects the idea, right? Whereas before it was just you kind of working on an idea and kind of building it up, and then now it's been released, right?
It's spreading,
So,
yeah.
Yes, okay, so my point is that don't you think the white hats would be looking after, like if the enemy knows and is trying to dox you, don't you think that the good guys also know and are providing protection?
I don't know how any of that works. I'm not a programmer.
As far as what? Like what? Like you being doxxed, or them being able to spy on you, or
like ISPs and VPNs and Discord servers and backends and all that shit.
Well, okay, I can almost guarantee you, and this is, I don't have any like facts, like anything I can show you, but this is just my spiritual intuition saying this. I'm almost 100% positive that the military's known about you longer than you've shared the info with the military.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I have that feeling too, yeah.
Yeah, and so what I'm getting at is that you being doxxed could actually be a positive thing. Because what would you be doxxed for? Who would be doxing you? Right?
Someone who wants harm put upon me.
But for one, I think our military could counter that if they needed to. And for two, all that would be doing is giving publicity to the idea, especially if the military knew that they could protect you. I mean, like...
But no one's talking about the ideas. Like, that silence is our biggest weakness. That silence is why we're losing. That silence is our biggest flaw. Right? Let there be light. Right?
Yes,
the truth shall set you free. Why are we keeping all these secrets when they're just destroying America? The secrets are destroying America.
Would you be willing to be doxxed if it meant that the idea would get out?
No.
No? Why not?
Because then some guy who got paid $100,000 by the deep state would just walk up and shoot me in the chest like they did with fucking all the Kennedys. They would JFK me. They would John Lennon me in a heartbeat. Why do I have to be doxxed in order to present my ideas to the world? That doesn't make any fucking sense. This is the 21st century. I can be as anonymous as I please. And all you have to do is have Elon Musk post my fucking YouTube account on Twitter. That's all you have to do. Game over. Take my YouTube channel, post it on Twitter, pin it to the top of Twitter for 48 hours. So everyone can watch my entire YouTube channel, and then the good guys win. It's literally that fucking easy, and no one fucking does it. Because you love to have secrets. Your whole life is that boner you get when you know secrets that other people don't. That's your whole fucking life. Like, oh, look at me, I have the hidden knowledge. Oh, that's so cool. I have hidden knowledge. I'm such a cool guy. While the world falls apart around you.
Well, I honestly...
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, brother, but I don't know what you're, like, want to hear right now, because obviously I don't have the ability to affect change in the way that you're expecting right now. So, like, if I understand if you need to be frustrated and stuff, so don't feel like I'm taking that wrong. But, yeah, man, that's, like I said, like, I think the biggest thing is, just you gotta trust that Jesus is in control, and it's all in His plan. Because His timing's perfect, and the Bible even says that we won't know the day, like, of His return, and nobody does. So, you just gotta keep just being the light, and like I said, it's gonna happen in His timing, brother.
It's 7:17 right now.
But yeah, I mean, I wish I could, like, offer more comfort, and I don't want to just, like, you know what I mean? I definitely.
This is pretty fucking traumatizing, and all of the people who are listening in, they're so comfortable in their office jobs with all their fucking secrecy and all their privacy. And I have like 10 different federal agents breathing down my neck. And like, why? Why are you putting me through this suffering? What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you're a Christian. I would always give it back to Christ. And what did Christ do to deserve what He suffered?
Exactly. It's the wickedness of man. That's why.
Yes,
there was nothing Christ did. Christ did nothing wrong. The wickedness of man destroyed him.
And so anytime...
And it's happening again with the fucking Freemasons and the fucking Pentagon.
Yeah. But just remember, even they're not in control. Truly, they're not. Like, nothing man can do will stop the will of God.
How is
Nothing.
the Pentagon not in control?
Of the will of God?
If anyone is in control of anything, it's the Pentagon.
Well, but control of what?
The course of history.
But isn't that ultimately God? Can man change history without it being God's will?
You need the consent of the governed.
But can't God change hearts in the blink of an eye? So
I heard I heard some rumors that the King's Moves is able to do that.
But wait, go back to that though, because like it's easy to blame man, but I think it's ultimately like I think this is like where the frustration is stemming is like you are giving man too much power. Like, yes, man's evil and corrupted and stuff like that, but do you like, I want to hear this again, you said it a second ago, but do you truly believe that your plan's God's will?
Well, God gave me the ideas. Like, where else did they come from?
Well, no, I'm asking you, you believe it's God's will?
Yes.
Okay, so nothing, anybody, and I mean anybody in this planet, in this universe, including Satan, can stop that. And it will happen exactly how God wants it, in the exact way God wills it. 100%, full stop. And so I think God's wanting you to find comfort in that. Because remember I told you, like, God, when I was praying for you and stuff, and like my prayer time and stuff like that, I kept getting like a sense of praying for you and remaining humble. Not saying you're not humble, just to remain humble.
Yes. Right.
And I think part of this humility is realizing that though it's frustrating and though you just want to shake people sometimes for just the ignorance and the stupidity and just the sinful nature, that ultimately it's in God's hands. And nothing we do or say and all we're called to do is just continue to be the light. So I sense frustration and anger and just really pent up emotion from you right now. And so I just want to encourage you to maybe try to ask God how you can give that to him and remain at a sense of peace, because ultimately Jesus is supposed to bring us peace, right? And so we're not in charge of how things played out. Like, you've already done your part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you, like I said, I really feel like God allowed us to be friends because I want to be a friend for you, and so my focus is you and your personal health and your personal well-being. And like, I obviously can't control you getting doxxed. Like, I can't just put a magic bubble over you. I wish I could. But I do know that Jesus is, and he has. And so the only way that he will allow that bubble to disappear is if we step out of faith and don't trust in him. Because he allows us to venture from the protective bubble so that way we can experience this chaos that you're feeling right now. So that way he can bring us back into the bubble, and then we have a greater peace than before. Does that make sense? So this frustration and this anger and this emotions that you're feeling with like the world right now, it's meant to serve a purpose so you can identify it, so that way you can step back into peace. And when you step back into peace, you bring tools with you. You bring like a different way of thinking. You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, I think it's God's just wanting you to like learn to lean on him even more, because there's never a maximum amount we can lean on God. We can always give him more. Like, there's always more of us. There's always emotions that we have that we can give to him. And so anytime I feel negative emotions, I've almost kind of learned to, like, not enjoy them because they suck. You know what I mean? They're when you're in them, they suck. But afterwards, I've learned to, like, appreciate them because they're growing us. You know what I mean? And so just try to find the area of growth for you, because that's the only thing you can worry about. Or not worry, but that's the only thing you can improve on. You know what I mean? Like, you don't feel like the idea needs to change in any way, right? Like, you feel like you've gotten the idea how it needs to come out?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Okay. So, the idea is good, and so the things you can focus on are, like, even ask Jesus this. Be like, Jesus, how can I be even more humble? How can I lean on you more? How can I, you know what I mean? Like, all these things that are about you. And so I think you're just kind of in that period right now where it's like, it's just not God's will yet, because we can't see. Another thing too is we can't see all the time like God can.
Right.
So we get in this hyper focused thing where it's like we think now's the perfect time, right? And yet it's not. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, okay, so I'll give you an example that just came to me. Noah's flood, right?
Yeah.
Noah spent like 100 years building the ark, right? God could have easily built the ark, brought it down from the sky, right? Had animals build it, whatever he wants, right? But he allowed Noah to build it for 100 years, right? And I'm sure Noah, while he was building it, was frustrated because he was getting mocked, he was getting ridiculed, he was getting all this, right? But then one day the rain came, right? And it knocked out everybody but those 9 people on the boat, right? Or 7 or 9. 7 or 9, I forget right now. But it knocked out everybody, right? But that 100 years was allowing different people the chance to repent and come back to him, because God's gracious, right?
I just had a funny idea.
What?
What if Elon Musk coded into Twitter that every single account on the entire website gets shadow banned except for me for like 10 days? That would be so funny. Because you said everyone was washed away except for the people on the ark.
Yeah. I do think that they're probably, like, how many people do you have like that, like, know this idea pretty well, like in your personal life? Like, obviously you've sent it to like high up people that you don't have really any connections with. But are there any people that like are pretty solid as far as like you've explained the idea to, that kind of understand it a little bit?
I'm not gonna divulge that information.
Well, okay, so you don't have to. Okay. The reason I ask is because I do think it would be better coming from if different people were able to kind of explain it. Like, though it's your idea, because people have different ways of speaking and sharing stuff and stuff like that. And so it's almost like how God used different people in the Bible to like explain different things. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you have anybody on your team, and you absolutely don't have to divulge anything you don't want to. But so that was my only thought with like shadow banning everybody. Like, I do think it would be more constructive to have like a group of people that can kind of even just share like bits and pieces where it's like you're maybe sharing the overall idea, but
yeah.
So, and I don't, like I said, I have no idea who you talked to, and you don't have to tell me anything. So, but yeah, that is interesting. If I do think, I mean, because they did talk about the 10 Days of Darkness in Q.
Yeah, so, I don't like the 10 Days of Darkness.
Yeah, but
that would just like make the whole spy games even worse.
So, you don't like it? You said, sorry.
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
Well, I was more referring to like darkness as in shadow banning. Get it? Like.
Yeah, or like shutting down the internet or social media.
Yeah. That's. I wasn't talking about like darkness. Like I do think to an extreme that would just cause chaos and that would just allow people to move in ways that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but crazy times we live in, though. I mean.
Yeah. Did you hear about that New Mexico thing?
Yeah, my girlfriend was actually just telling me about that, bro. That's crazy.
They're
man.
suspending the First and Second Amendment for the next 30 days.
What do you think about that?
I think they heard about the King's moves.
And they're just seeing how people react?
And they're fucking paranoid.
Oh, okay. So you're saying the enemy was okay. I was
The
thinking
enemy is terrified, yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it could be like a precursor to, because didn't you say there's going to be a point where like, oh wait, no, the Constitution doesn't get suspended, right?
Yes, it gets suspended immediately.
Okay. For how long?
Indefinitely.
So what about like the right to bear arms?
Well, that's the Bill of Rights. It's different. It says the Bill of Rights remains in effect.
Okay.
The Constitution is like Congress and the courts.
Okay. So they're suspending the Bill of Rights then.
Yeah, the enemy is suspending the Bill of Rights.
Okay. So that still remains intact for King's moves.
Yes, right, correct.
Okay. But like freedom of speech and all that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're gonna want people to bear arms during this transition. We're the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, please put on a vest and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I definitely you definitely know that, like, I mean, anybody like outsider like that doesn't know anything about a plan or anything with anything has to kind of, I mean, I don't get how it would pique something inside of you to see somebody literally suspend the right to bear arms and then to do it unilaterally too and just say, I'm in charge, I can do it if I want. Like, that was the goodness of, like, that really got me. It wasn't like, I mean, Democrats have been trying to get rid of the right to bear arms for a while, so that doesn't really surprise me. But like the boldness to say, like, she literally in the interview said, like, I can do whatever I want with emergency powers. So that's
right.
Like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
I heard a rumor that there's a private military corporation operating in the United States in secret, and they're en route to Mexico right now, New Mexico.
What about that? Like, I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Like, I'm not sure what you're trying to get at with that. Can you explain?
So there's literally a mercenary group that's going to New Mexico to violently overthrow her.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, and the Pentagon's like supportive of that and okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brand new world, baby.
Well, have you ever heard I forget what it's called. I'm thinking the overtone window where it's, or no, I don't know about if it's the overtone window, but the thing where it's like people get shocked the first time something happens, but then after that they're not as shocked.
Right.
And so like oftentimes that's what the deep state the cabal would do to us, is they would allow something to happen so that way later on when they went to go do it again, it wouldn't be as big of a shock. And so it's like, I mean, like stuff like that with like overthrowing stuff and all that, like kind of, it almost feels like prepping of some sort. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of who you are, like what people believe or where they stand, like that's how I would see it. Like, I mean, I'm sure some people see it in a negative way, like that people are trying to like anarchy and stuff like that, but because that's usually what people usually jump to right away, is like white supremacy, or you know what I mean. But
yeah.
But so besides the fear of doxing, and was there any other causes of your fear of doxing? I mean, obviously, I know you. It's a lot that you said you're processing and stuff like that. Is there any other like reasons that have caused you fear for doxing besides the new coronavirus that you said is called Discord?
Yeah, hold on. I follow comms on Twitter.
Yeah.
And 1 second.
Oh, let me let my dog in my room real quick. Come on, bud. Come on, you want to come here real quick? Yeah, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Stop. Who's a good boy? You come out with Papa? You're still there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure you're not going to mess up. Good boy, Cosmo. Come here, bud. Come here. Come here. Yeah. Who's a good boy?
Here's a guy that says he's got the Comrade Kitty icon. And
what's the Comrade Kitty?
It's a left-wing thing.
Oh, okay.
And his name is Dangerous Variant. Username Abnormal2020. And he says 92323 is actually 10. The completion number in the Cabal. And it shows a dead guy who got stabbed in the back. By 10 swords.
So, I'm trying to figure out how like your mind works as far as you said you study comms. So like what does that mean to you? Because there's so many people on Twitter. So how do you separate just something that's comms or directed towards important, or something that's important and means something, or something that's just random and people on the internet just being people on the internet?
I think these people are all associated with secret societies.
What gave you that cause, or that thinking? I mean,
I don't know. I just don't like it. Is what I'm trying to say. It's just bad vibes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no. I'm just like I said. I'm just trying to understand, because you said you like studying comms. And so I was just trying to figure out what that meant to you, like, because I know, like especially on Great Awakening, I've seen people like, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, I'm just saying this is what I've seen, but people go seeking for stuff, and it's like, when you go seeking for stuff, eventually you're gonna find, like, it's like watching a random movie and seeing the letter 17, and then taking the next line of that and being like, oh, they're speaking to us. Like that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Right.
So, yeah. So, because, like, I mean, honestly, are you autistic?
I have Asperger's.
Okay. Man, I will say, though, like, I'm blessed to be on Great Awakening, because...
But here's the thing, okay, when I post my content, it immediately gets downvoted, and I get harassed, and I get called a piece of shit, and I get called a loser, and then the mods usually delete it. If someone posts some 5G, like, New Age Ascension, crystals, vibration bullshit for the 10,000th time, it gets upvoted to the top, and everyone's like, wow, this is so deep, this is so great, I love this. All of the real knowledge is suppressed and actively suppressed. All of the disinformation is actively increased and actively propagated, and all of the psyops and all of the trauma-based warfare, okay? Like, to say that the white hats are in control is nonsense. It's bullshit.
Are you talking about...
The white hats are not in control.
Were you just talking about Great Awakening when you said it gets downvoted?
Yes, and the Donald.win, and Reddit, and Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitter, and all of them.
Yeah.
Every single platform where that people actually spend time have already been infiltrated by the deep state, and they're already suppressed, and they're already fucking doing it.
As far as Great Awakening, like, have you ever thought that maybe, like, it's kind of like a job interview where you're proving your dedication to the cause by...
No.
Well, because if it all got... It's like a child star, right? Think of, like, somebody that got rich off, like, one movie, and then they just all of a sudden get casted in everything.
Dude, I have
right?
500 videos. What are you talking about? One movie?
Well, what I'm saying is that those 500 videos were the reason why. Like, maybe in the near future that will change. But those 500 videos prove it's like your resume where you're proving your dedication to the idea. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, just what else was I going to ask you? What is your user? What's your I don't know if you're going to share this, but what's your username on .win? I don't know if I've ever even seen your content, so that's why I'm asking.
I can't post anything. It gets deleted instantly by Jannies. And then they ban me for self-promotion.
Oh, yeah, I had to be careful with that too with Burger, and they let me go for a while, but then... but like I said, I've had some interesting talks with admins and stuff there too.
They're fucking just as bad as the rest of them. There's not a single goddamn person on this entire fucking planet, or at least this entire fucking country, who can just man up and tell the truth and say, this is what will make society better.
Yeah.
This is what we should do. Everyone trembles like a fucking child, like a little bitch, at the idea of speaking the good news.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that happening? In one of my videos, there's a public speaker, and he's talking about, like, the modern society, and he gets like, how are we this demoralized? How did we become so demoralized? And he just, like, keeps screaming it. He's, like, traumatized. He like, loses himself. Like, how are we so demoralized? That you can't, I'd love to play the clip, but I'd have to pull it up. But, like, that you could be rich and not want to dream of something big, and dream of a big project, or do something that leaves your mark on the world.
Yeah.
Instead, you just buy a fucking boat and drink champagne on the boat. Like, that's your big vision as a rich asshole.
Because, like, yeah, that's like my problem with, like, the prayer garden is, like, right now, really the only thing I lack to make it like its own app would be the funding. And it's like, yeah, I think about that often, where it's like how rich people, they do get rich, and then they kind of just, they don't want to, like, do big stuff. They think that the money, that being rich is the value, rather than like you said. I really like what you said about leaving your mark on the world. And I pray often that more people will have that mindset of, like, not for their own name to be important, but to just leave a mark on the world. You know what I mean? Not so you can be remembered and people celebrate you, but so you can leave a positive impact on the world. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a huge, and especially Christians, we got in this like very passive, like, oh, Christ is coming type thing, and it's like few people are actually like wanting to like do big things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because oftentimes it requires sacrifice, or it requires being able to put up with ridicule, or it requires losing friendships, or you know what I mean? It requires some sort of pain and suffering. Like the Bible even says that. And so it's like, as soon as people start experiencing that, where it's like they get shadow banned, or they get downvotes, or they get people cussing at them, or you know what I mean, and then they just stop because it's like, oh, well, it's not worth it. I rather have people like me. And it's like, no. Like, especially when I started like the prayer thread and started the prayer garden and started trying to bring together people on Dotwin and stuff, like I had a lot of people that would just be bored, and their whole purpose would be to try to just tear down me or my idea. And eventually it's like I learned to like not even let it affect me at all. Like I just say like, oh, I love you, like I'm praying for you, and then pray for them, and then, you know what I mean, and eventually, like, it's amazing too, like when people do that and you treat them, you don't allow it to get a reaction out of you, and you just act positive still, they almost always stop, because they're expecting that reaction out of you. They're expecting that, like, that hate, or that you know what I mean. And so like a lot of my haters, actually, even with like the prayer thread, because I don't know if you've ever read my prayer threads, but my spelling, I suck at spelling. Like, I'm not the best speller or best with grammar, and so a lot of people would attack that in the beginning, and I was just like, hey, like, if you want to alternate, like, you could do the prayer thread every other day. Like, if you think you can do it better, let's alternate. And nobody ever took me up on that offer. It's like people just want to like use people that are trying to do something to boost themselves up for not doing anything. And it is a very sad mental state of humanity. And so,
yeah, we want to kill our healer. Humanity always wants to kill their heroes. They desperately want to murder their heroes.
Yeah.
And then they're like, why don't we have any heroes? Humanity sucks. There's no heroes. Oh, wait, look, over there. There's a hero. Let's kill him.
Yeah. Or my favorite thing is, not my favorite, that's a bad choice of words, but I'm being facetious. But something that I find funny is when they complain about like every microscopic element of what you're doing, but yet they don't provide any thoughts that are productive or beneficial to the conversation. It's
I get that a lot.
They want to tell you how not to do it, but they don't want to tell you how they would do it.
Right, because they can't do it. Otherwise they would have.
Yeah. And that's my biggest thing. Like, God put it in my heart, like, to not, anybody that's passionate about an idea or something, like I said, I have probably like 10 different people that I have that are like, have ideas that they're working with in some form or fashion, right? And like, they're very passionate about it. And even if I don't understand the idea fully, or God's put it on my heart, I don't need to fully understand it, but to just help them with that passion, because it's so true that, like, what the Bible says, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And like, that really stuck in my heart, because it's like there's so much to do, and there's so few that are actually willing to be passionate about an idea, that who am I to pick apart every part that I could of their idea, when it's best to find the areas that you agree with in their ideas, and then just have discussion and then hear them out. Because oftentimes it's like, when somebody has a really big idea, like, I'll take Gears for instance, right? Like,
some fed just randomly added me as a friend on Discord. Probably wants to talk to me.
That's funny. But like, what I was saying is, like, if you take any one element of somebody's idea, it's really easy to like say, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, right? But oftentimes, you got to understand the whole of something to understand why that part is what it is. And so people work backwards. They want to understand a single part, pick apart that part, and then seek to understand the whole idea, rather than understand the whole idea and then discuss different parts. And so it's like we're very backwards in like how we communicate with each other and try to understand ideas and stuff. And so, are they talking to you? Is that person talking to you?
No, I could try and talk to them.
I mean, it's probably not best if you're in the mindset that they're a Fed. You know what I mean?
I like to confront my shadows.
But okay. I completely understand the boldness and like not being afraid to, but what would be the purpose? Like,
to get some answers.
But if they're a Fed, what do you mean? How are they going to answer? Are they going to be like, yes, I'm a Fed?
Yeah, I've had several people tell me that in the last couple weeks. I've had people tell me they're spies.
I mean, but like that's the internet. I've had some people say that people say they're women now and they're men. Like people are just, especially on the internet, it's like, you know what I mean? Somebody could just be saying that, like, let me ask you this. Are you pretty open on your Discord server or in your, like, videos about, the government or, like, what the conversation we've been having about, like, fear of being doxxed or stuff like that?
No.
Like, no? Okay, that's, okay. Because people might just be, somebody could be just bored and wanting to mess with you and just trying to play with that emotion. So that's good that you're not talking about that.
This is such a terrible time to be alive.
You think so? I think it's the greatest time to be alive.
Yeah, you're not in my position.
I mean, what do you mean? Like, that's where the humility comes in, because to much it's I'm trying to think how to word this. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I understand your position, so it's like, but at the same time, don't you see like positive things coming? Like, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, for every negative comment I see, I probably see like 20 positive ones.
Okay, so that's good.
I just focused on that one negative.
Yeah, that's what. So, like, I feel like the reason I say it's the greatest time to be alive is because I really do feel like, and I know you feel this too, Jesus is returning, right? And
right.
The fact that we're awake and stuff, we're his first elect. Like, we're the people that are going to be announcing his return, or are going to be vocal about it. We won't know when exactly it will be, but we're the people that get to speak up on the beauty and the like, just the might and the just awesomeness of him and his return. And so it's like Jesus really did create us for this time. Like, and so though it's dark, like, Jesus doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. Like, he knows exactly what we're able to handle. And so
I'm a little in over my head.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's only when you view things from your life as your own perspective. When you really, like, because it's human nature to do this. So I'm not saying you're always in this state, but it's human nature to bounce between, like, our life belongs to Jesus and our life is our own. When our life belongs to Jesus, death doesn't matter. Pain doesn't matter. All of this doesn't matter. Just like Jesus went to the cross because it was the Father's will, right? And yet we have those human moments where, like, he was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he was like crying tears because, and like asking, like if there's any other way, basically, like, let it be, but if not, like, let your will be done. You know what I mean? And like that's the human reaction that we bounce between, where it's like the willingness to go to the cross, but then where we actually understand what that cross means. You know what I mean? And so it's you're just bouncing in between those two. And that's really good what you said earlier, though, about focusing on the positive responses. Like that would be my biggest concern about why I wouldn't suggest talking to people if you have a suspicion that they're a Fed, because all that's going to do is allow your brain to go down these rabbit holes, and you start seeing the enemy more than you start seeing Jesus. And so
right.
And that can be like, it's not a bad, like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like a bad thing to do that every once in a while, because like it strengthens us and stuff, and it teaches us how to like walk into the lion's den or fight those giants, you know what I mean? But you don't want to make that like your habit, because even that can get addicting, or that could be our ego, where we want to speak to these people because we want to like rub it in their face that they lost and we're winning. You know what I mean? And it's like we should even be seeking for them to come to Christ. And I think that's the hardest thing for like 99% of Christians to do, is to pray for your enemies and want to see them come to Christ.
Yeah.
Like, where do you stand on that? Are you pretty like, can you see some of the worst people and like truly pray for them? Or are you more like...
Yeah. I'm a strong believer in the power of forgiveness.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes.
And that's something that I think is going to be a necessary tool in this transition.
Amen. That's beautiful. I 100% agree, brother. 100%. And unfortunately, like, I talk to so many Christians that are just, they want to bring vengeance themselves, and they want to bring the wrath of God themselves, and then I just look at them and it's like, I mean, I don't, but I could look at them and I'm sure I could find like a million different things to point out in their life that really hurt God. You know what I mean? Just like I could point out in my life, like I'm far from perfect. That's why I don't try to like point out other people's sins, because I have my own that I have to deal with every day. And but yeah, it's just people want to bring the wrath of God and stuff, and then they want to like just kind of look over all of the areas that they need to improve. And it's very sad, because we're called to remove our own plank from our eye before we try to remove somebody else's, you know. And I think that's where forgiveness does come in, because in order to truly forgive somebody that's done evil things, I think it does require you realizing that us as individuals have done evil things, and only by God's grace and his forgiveness were we forgiven. And so it's like, who are we to be forgiven? Like, I sure as heck haven't done anything worthy of being forgiven. Like, I mean, like I said, I was a drug addict for 10 years. I've stolen, I've done bad things, I had like the worst language, and just done horrible things, sex before marriage, you know what I mean, just all these things that I could list. And
that's not that bad.
But I mean, it is, though, because it I mean, even having hate in your heart is considered murder, Jesus says. And so,
oh yeah, that's,
like,
I would say having hate in your heart is more serious than sex before marriage.
Really? So, okay, that's a good topic, actually. So, what do you think? Because this is my view. I'll give my view and then I'll ask for yours. My view is that there's sin and then there's God's will, and that there's no such thing as one sin is worse than the other. That God doesn't quantify the sin. He sees our heart, and he sees it either not aligned with him or aligned with him. And so humans want to judge sin and be like, oh, well, at least I'm not doing this, but this is worse than this, or at least it's not as bad as that. And I think that's a very human way of viewing stuff. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you judge? Like you said, you pretty plainly stated that you don't believe that's as bad as that. Why?
I think having hate in your heart causes spiritual destruction all around you. Whereas sex before marriage can cause an unwanted baby, but like it's still, intimacy, which I think is sacred between two people who love each other. So
yeah.
So I would say the spiritual destruction is worse.
So okay, that's a valid point. So what about all the spiritual destruction we don't see? Like, okay, say I had sex before marriage when I was 16, okay? I'm just giving random facts or random things. Say I had sex before marriage when I was 16, right? It involves two people. We had sex, we sinned together, right? So what if that sex before marriage causes trauma of some sort or causes us to imprint ourselves onto somebody, right? And we'd never know how that sin rolls down the hill, like, you know what I mean? And so as far as spiritual attacks, yeah, one's more open, like hate in your heart. You can kind of physically see the trauma that it causes, because it's usually like vocal or aggressive, but I do think there's stuff deep down that, like, even like sex before marriage could harden our heart, right? And that hardened in our heart being hardened might cause us to not be able to love somebody down the road that we need to, that God was going to use us to help, right? Like say I had sex before marriage when I was 16, right? And the next day my heart gets hardened because of it, right? And then I go to the store, and because my heart's hardened and I'm not walking with God the way I should, I then don't notice the person on the side of the road that God wants me to witness to, right? And then that person on the side of the road, because they didn't get the love that God wanted me to show them, they go out and do something. And so it's like a chain reaction where it's like, that's why sin was so quick to affect the world, because one sin made everything full of sin, right? And so
yeah,
I think that happens with our one sin, no matter what it is. And now there's billions of people walking around full of sin, not just one sin, full of sin. And so it's reverberating off each other, and we're not loving as deep as we truly can. So so another to kind of argue your side of things, one what churches often call it is private sin versus public sin. That would be like you said, hate in your heart is a public sin because you're doing it to somebody like publicly and it's causing that. But private sin would be like cheating on your wife, where it's like it doesn't necessarily automatically like cause something. Like it could be kept private, it could be kept inward, like, you know what I mean? And so I think that's why the Bible really does define hate in the heart as murder, because it kind of combines those two public and private sins into one, where it's saying they're the same thing. Because hate in your heart, you could have hate in your heart and not act on it, right? Like I could hate somebody and people around me might not know. I could just hold on to it, right?
Yeah.
It might affect your mood a little bit, but people are pretty good at like masking hate, or like not fully revealing it to anybody they want. But like as far as murder, you can't really hide murder. Like if somebody died, you know what I mean? Like, so. That's a good topic, though. I think. I think Christians don't really think about their sin as much as they should, and it's sad. But I'm going to try to gear this towards something positive. What are your plans for the rest of the weekend? You doing anything tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow could be the big day, or 2 days from now.
What is there any reason why you feel that way?
Monday could be the big day.
Or is Monday something like, is Monday a specific, like, what about Monday? I guess is how I would say that.
I announced it on my Discord server.
That it was going to be Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you announce that? Just intuition?
It's poetic.
Hold on, let me look at what Monday is, see if I can put it. Oh, okay, I'm stupid. I don't know. Okay, my bad. I didn't realize. Dang, we're already in September. That's crazy. Sorry, I completely forgot we were in September. I could have gotten that. Yeah, that would be pretty poetic to do that, especially because they used 9/11 for such horrible things. I think that could, like, it's almost like stealing back the date.
Yeah, exactly. It's like oh, you're gonna do a big conspiracy? Yeah, how about we do a big conspiracy?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll definitely be watching the news, and like I said, I'm praying for you, man, and I've told my girlfriend bits and pieces just so she can be kind of praying for you too, and because, like I said, I just want to be your friend however I can, and I know, I can't, I keep saying I know, but I as much as I'm able to, I can relate to you and the fear of getting doxxed just from Prayer Garden. Like, my stuff's not as big as what you're going through, but I have had fears of being doxxed before, so I know that's no fun, because people are, like you said, all it takes is somebody finding and paying somebody stupid to do something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's crazy, is like the people that would want it done wouldn't even do it themselves. Like, they're such cowards and they're so sneaky and manipulative that they would just pay somebody that they are controlling or brainwashing to do it. Like, that's how they do all their evil acts. And it's
right.
Like, if you're gonna be evil, like, own up to the evil at least. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate to say it like that, because I don't want to see anybody be evil, but like, it's a coward's way out to manipulate somebody else to do your evil for you.
Right.
Alright. Yeah, I don't know if I told you, kind of changing the topic right now, but we went to Taco Bell a week ago, and we found a kitten, and it's about 6 to 9 months old, and oh my gosh, she's such a lover. She's like the best cat ever. She's all white, and we named her Spirit. Oh my gosh, and so we've been taking care of her. We tried to find an owner or somebody that, just in case she was lost, like, we went and got checked for a chip. She doesn't have a chip. But she did have a couple fleas, so we had to keep her in the bathroom, and we gave her a bunch of flea baths. But luckily, I think the fleas are gone now. And so I think next week we're going to take her to the SPCA to get her shots, so that way she can roam the house with all my other animals. But yeah, man, like, are you an animal person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any pets?
No.
No. But what's your favorite? Like, are you a cat or dog person, or some other
more
animal?
of a dog?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been more of a dog person, but like, and I still am, because my dog's like my life. I love my dog. I rescued him years ago, and like, I was just smoking a cigarette outside my friend's house, and he just walked down the street, and you could tell he was abused and just not fed right. And he walked right up to me, sat on my lap, and he wouldn't let anybody else pet him. And I sat out there with him for like 2 hours, and then I was like, okay, nobody walked by or anything, so I'm taking him. And he's been mine ever since.
Nice.
And yeah, and we just found a cat in a similar way too, and so I'm definitely more of a dog person, but this cat, something about this cat, I just feel really a connection to it. Like I can't stand like me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend actually broke down crying about this the other day because she was just very, like I said, she's very spiritually in tuned about stuff. But we were thinking about how like animals have to suffer because the sins of mankind.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's actually my fourth letter gets into racial and animal justice.
Oh.
Yeah. So. So it's probably like half done. I haven't written all of it yet.
Okay.
It's funny. I thought the second. Sorry, I thought the second letter was going to be my last one, but now I'm like almost done with my fourth.
So I'm just trying to. I'm sorry if you've already explained this, but the letters are. What are the letters?
The King's moves.
Oh, okay. The King's moves. So yeah, okay. Because I read the first two. Or the first three, right? Or are those just points on the first letter that you sent me?
I think I sent you the third one, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I read... Yeah. I think you sent me the first three. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to just remember all the terminology and stuff. Yeah, I still have it saved. Hold on. Where is it? But yeah, like, as far as animal... What are your thoughts on, like, you said you had some thoughts on animal equality or whatever. What do you mean by that?
Oh, I can't give away my secrets, sorry.
Okay.
Let's just say there's about 8 policies that are already done and selected, and they're all amazing. They're a little on the hippie side, so it might make some people grumpy, but I think they're great.
Is it like we're all vegetarian type stuff?
There are taxes on meat, yeah.
Okay. So it allows eating of meat, but it encourages to be a vegetarian.
Yeah. You pay a pretty hefty... It's a 120% tax on meat.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
I'm literally... So I built my libertarian society from 2019 to 2023, and all I'm really doing is converting it to on the national level.
Okay.
So it's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I care very deeply for animals. Like, I still eat meat myself, and I think it's more of like an addiction now. Like, I just, you know what I mean, because it's so good. But like, I do prefer to get meat from places that the animal was raised a certain way and then killed.
One of the. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get going. It's pretty late.
Oh, okay. You're good. Can I pray us out real quick, brother?
Yeah, of course. We'll pray this out, yeah.
Alright. Dear Jesus, we just come before you today, and we're just so thankful for all the beauty of the world and the animals and the humans, even though they're just full of sin and just so nasty oftentimes. We're just thankful that your light is still in us, and we can't extinguish that completely. So we just pray for our enemies, those that are just captured by darkness, and do we just ask that you just remove the grips of darkness from them and just let them see the light, let them see the potential in a future in which we serve you above all. I just thank you for my friend Traveler. I just ask that you just put a protective hedge over him. Just anybody that may have hopes to dox him or cause him harm, I just ask that you just give them a change of heart and just give them the wisdom and understanding to be able to see the idea and see the potential of living a new way that they probably have never even lived themselves because they're just so wrapped up in evil and themselves. So just look after Traveler, just help him to continue to rest in your spirit, and just show him new ways he can lean on you. Just help me to be a friend that whatever friend he allows and you allow, Jesus. We both want to serve you, and we look forward for your return. And until that day, we just patiently wait, and we just ask that you just continue to be with us and just bless us as we go on with our night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, brother. Well, I want to keep in touch. So you please reach out to me if you ever need anything or you just need somebody to vent. I can always be that ear for you, man. Even if it's just you needing to get some stuff off your chest.
It reduces my anxiety to talk to people about this.
Yeah, and like I said, brother, you can always. I won't. I'm here for you, and I can take the frustration or the whatever you need to call it. You use me, brother. I'm here for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. You have a good night, man. God bless. Love you.
You too.
Should nothing of our efforts stand, no legacy survive, unless the Lord does raise the house, in vain its builders strive. To you who boast tomorrow's gain, tell me, what is your life? A mist that vanishes with the dawn. All glory be to Christ. All glory be to Christ our King. All glory be to Christ. His rule and reign will ever sing. All glory be to Christ. His will be done, his kingdom come, on earth as is above. Who is himself our daily bread, praise him, the Lord of love. Let living water satisfy the thirsty without price. We'll take a cup of kindness yet. All glory be to Christ. All glory be to Christ our King. All glory be to Christ. His rule and reign will ever sing. All glory be to Christ. When on the day the great I am, the faithful and the true, the Lamb who was for sinners slain is making all things new. Behold, our God shall live with us and be our steadfast light, and we shall heir his people be. All glory be to Christ. All glory be to Christ our King. All glory be to Christ. His rule and reign will ever sing. All glory be to Christ. All glory be to Christ our King. All glory be to Christ. His rule and reign will ever sing. All glory be to Christ.